So, welcome to the Insight Cafe. I'm your host, 𝗦𝗁𝗿𝗵𝗆, and today, I have my dear friend, Stephany Auernig, and she is a certified professional trainer, a renowned spin instructor. And over the years, she's helped so many people heal from suffering from extreme diets. And because so many people today were so focused on our health, right? And there's so much information out there, and it's so hard to decipher. So I brought Stephany on here today to help us bust myths, to get her perspective on what health looks like to her, and to help us. I feel like with you, it's not only help us get healthier, but get stronger too.
Yes, correct.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I mean, to be honest, I've never really done like a podcast before with someone. So this is my first podcast.
We're going to make it great. So before we get into your expertise, I'd like to know, how did you get into health and helping people with their health?
Okay, so I'll try and make it short because, to be honest, it's been a long journey. So
We got
I'll
time.
start. Okay, so I'll start from the very beginning. So
Yeah.
I've always been an active, a sporty kid since high school and all of that. So I've always enjoyed, running around and, with all these challenges. And so when I went to uni, I continued to, do that. But it's different when you're in high school. You have, basketball, football, it's all team sports. Now, when I started uni, I was a bit lost. I was like, okay, what do I do? Because I went to uni in Thailand, by the way. So sports here isn't really, that big when it's in university. So I was just trying to figure out how to, keep myself active and, stay in shape and all of that. So, I started doing some research. I bought some programs, did it for myself. But before all of that, I actually just started running, just the usual stuff that a lot of people do. I mean, like when you want to start fitness, a lot of people just be like, okay, I'll start running. Like that's the first thing that it's easiest, it's cheap, it's free, So I did that. And also mentioning I started to, work in the industry. So, I mean, like modeling and acting and stuff. So it kind of requires me to, stay in shape. So, yeah, I started doing that. I started running. And then from 30 minutes of running, it turned into, 40 minutes and then 1 hour and then 1 hour and a half and then 2 hours. So I was just doing purely cardio. It was fine. I mean, to be honest, like I lost a lot of weight and it was like a positive thing when you're a model and stuff like that. Like it's the thinner you are, the prettier and the healthier it is. And I was young, I didn't know much, and I just continued doing that. And then I started controlling my food a little bit, so eating healthier. So healthy for me was just eating veg and less meat and all that stuff. I mean, I had no knowledge with nutrition whatsoever. I just thought I just had to eat less and I just had to run more. So after a couple of years, gone by, I started to realize that I was getting sick very often. I was, going to the hospital a lot of times. I was stressed. My skin wasn't looking very nice. I was getting spots all the time. My under eyes were dark. And then eventually I lost my menstrual cycle. So, which is not a good thing. So then I started to realize that, okay, this is, not going the right direction. And also like I, started counting calories as well. So I was eating very little, like under 1,000 calories plus running 2 hours a day, for example, because I thought that's what I needed to do to stay in shape. Like I thought that was the only way. Now then I realized, after I realized that this is like I'm not feeling good. Like I felt horrible and I felt like I was unhappy. I was very unhappy. But then at the same time I had this pressure from the industry to stay in that shape and in that standard of beauty. Now, eventually, I just kind of, you know, I just kind of went a little crazy. And then I felt depressed. I was sad. And, I knew something was wrong. So I started to kind of, told myself like, okay, I need to get better. I can't be feeling sad all the time. Like something is wrong, you know? So then I kind of just did my own little research of like, you know, what's happening and stuff. Then I realized, okay, I'm not feeding my body enough food, especially if I'm running like this much. Then I started eating more. And then obviously, you know, once you've been deprived for a long time, when you're eating more, your body reacts to it. And like, you know, it just kind of takes all in that food. And then it started to hold and gain a little bit of fat. So then, you know, I was a bit scared because then it was like, oh no, I'm eating more. I'm feeling better, but I'm gaining weight, you know? So all that weight that I've managed to lose, it's coming back. So it's been back and forth. It's like a battle in my head of like, yeah, I want to get better. But at the same time, it's like, I can't because I'm working in this industry where I need to, you know, where there's this beauty standard that is set already and I have to, you know, stay there. And then eventually I just, you know, like I just exploded. Basically, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do it. I need to take care of myself. I want to be happy. Like I was just constantly trying to please other people, but I wasn't happy myself. So then that's when I really did a lot of research. And then this was towards the end of like my 4th year of uni. So I was, you know, graduating and everything. And I had a bit more time to just kind of, you know, take care of myself a little bit more. So then after I graduated, I decided to take a course in, to become a certified personal trainer, but not because I wanted to train other people, but because I wanted to know more about fitness and strength training and resistance training. Because, you know, if you just go on Google and you research about it, like, you know, everyone knows that it's good for you. Like you gain strength, it's good for your metabolism. You know, when you're older, you want to be able to move around. You don't want to be stuck in bed or in like, you know, not be able to travel around, for example. So I was interested in that and I was like, okay, I need to get better for this. So then I did that and I started to look into nutrition as well. So, I mean, at that time I was still quite, you know, slim, but I was, you know, I got like a better understanding of nutrition and training and, you know, how like 2 hours, 3 hours a day of cardio isn't that great for you. And, you know, overtraining and under recovering as well. So I took a course in, you know, certified personal training. And then eventually I took a course for nutrition. And this was all for myself, like it wasn't for other people. And then obviously I applied all this for myself. I mean, I got better. My menstrual cycle came back. You know, I felt happy. I did gain weight, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it was part of the process and my body needed it in order for my hormones to come back to a normal level and for my body to function normally again. So it was a long journey. It was very difficult. But then I think it wasn't just that, like, okay, my body was healthy, but then my head was still, you know, I was still getting like these negative thoughts about myself, like, you know, when you just pick out these negative things about your body. So I realized that I needed to get myself out of that negative environment that I was in, which was, you know, all the modeling and the acting that I was doing. So I made a very tough decision and it was very, what do you call it? It was hard. It was hard because I thought, you know, this is the only thing I could do. I wasn't confident that I was better, you know, like I wasn't confident that I was able to, you know, become an instructor and stuff. Like, you know, it might sound weird, like I was acting and modeling, but I was never a confident person. Like I was super shy. I hated being on stage. I hated being on camera, all of that stuff. But then, yeah, once I graduated, I made that decision. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. Like I cannot anymore. I really need a break. I mean, if I want to come back to it, then, you know, I can, but right now I need to heal myself. I need to heal my mind and my body. And I want to do what I love and enjoy, which is, you know, working out and just taking care of myself. Then when I went through all that healing process, I realized that, you know, there's a lot of other people out there who is probably going through the same thing as I did back then. And, you know, for me, it was like 10 years. And there are some people who's been, you know, constantly dieting for like, you know, over 20 years, for example, and then I realized like, this is my goal. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to help people break out of this cycle of constantly dieting and not being able to live happily and enjoying the foods they eat, you know, like constantly thinking about food. Like, that's not healthy. So I started off, I just, you know, went around gyms and just worked out myself. Then I found out that the spinning studio was, you know, finding more instructors. So then I was like, okay, let me, you know, try it out and see if I'm fit enough for it, or, you know, if I enjoy it. And the first time I went, I was like, oh my God, like, this is it. This is me. Like, I love music. You know, I'm not a great dancer, but I love music and I love exercising. I was like, what a great freaking like gym session, you know? So then, yeah. And then training just started from there. They were like, yep, you're fit enough, you know music, you understand beat, go for it. So then I started training for it. And, you know, training was tough. Like, I had to put hours and hours to get my body fit for it. And I'm not sure if you've seen some of my videos, but I have to shout at the same time. And I'm not allowed to breathe too deeply. You know, you need to be like super strong for it. So, you know, that was great. And then I was invited, like, I found this other gym, which was, you know, more like a group class and personal training. So a friend told me that I should try to apply for it as well. Because, you know, already then I was already training for myself. So I already finished my course for the personal training. So I had knowledge for that as well. So then I was like, okay, cool. Let's see if I enjoy it. You know, like, I just wanted to try and just see if I enjoyed training other people, because sometimes you don't know if you're going to like it or not. So you just have to try. So I went for it. So I worked for this other gym base, and then and it just kind of continued from there. And then I trained people. I helped them, you know, get stronger and reach their goals. And you know, it just really just continued from there. And then I realized I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, but then fast forward to today now, I'm not with the gym anymore. I'm still with Rye, but I decided to come out and, you know, to be a freelance trainer. And obviously the pandemic hit, and, you know, I realized like, okay, people are stuck at home, people are lost. Like, I need to do something. I want to help people, you know, it's just my passion now. So that's pretty much it. Like, I try to make it as short as possible, but yeah, that's my story. So here I am today, you know, helping people understanding nutrition and fitness.
Well, that was a great podcast. Thank you for coming.
That was
So
1 hour.
yeah, so I really appreciate you sharing so deeply and openly. I think just you sharing your story, so many people are going to resonate and hear themselves in your stories. And that's what I love
Yeah.
about stories, because we hear ourselves in other people's stories, and then it's like your story is now the teacher, right? I'm like, oh yeah, she was there and this is what she did. And I resonate with your story too. I think because I was a Taekwondo player for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weight stuff that goes on in sports that we don't talk about. Like at one point,
Yeah.
well, one of the reasons why I joined Taekwondo, because I'm tall and skinny, and then like when I went to the Taekwondo, like everybody looked like me. I was like, oh, clearly this is where I'm supposed to be, because everybody else is like, oh,
Okay.
you're too skinny, or you want drugs. And I was like, it was kind of like bullying, but I never really called it that.
Yeah.
And there were times where I tried to gain weight in Taekwondo, and I just ate as much food as possible, and I did not enjoy food anymore. And I kind of
Yeah.
intuitively knew like, I don't want to do this, or I
Yeah.
hated cutting weight. That was the worst.
Yeah.
And is that your bike in the background?
My bike.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
the spin
mirror
bike.
reflection, but my
Oh,
bike
okay.
is right here.
How magic maker. So there are a couple of things that I resonated with in your story. I love how you connected the like how your health is connected to your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
And looking back, it kind of does make sense, right? If you're depriving yourself of the right nutrients, of course your mind's going to do funny things to tell you, like, you know what, I think something's wrong here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd love for you to share with us what are some of the myths of health and fitness and losing weight? Because I know in your research and your training, you've learned a lot of what their myths were compared to when you didn't know to now, right? And I think it can be very, I think myths are very like they're very popular, it
Yeah.
seems, and you don't
Yeah.
know you're following a myth because we've never really questioned it. And I do that a lot in my personal development work. So I'd love for you to
Hmm.
share what you've seen in the health world.
Okay, so first things first, that, it kind of surprised me because, it's been around for a very long time. And, like nowadays it's so easy. Like there's a lot of, influencers out there. There's a lot of, you can just Google things like super easily nowadays, but it's still, around, and I'm just like, I follow a lot of other trainers, other, fitness people who are like, who's got more experience than I do. And, they say the same thing. And it's just, yeah, sometimes it's really frustrating, but I understand, like for some people who are totally new, they don't really know where to go. They don't really know where to look. And it seems like it makes sense, but like, here I am, I'm going to explain one of the first ones. So first things first that I hear a lot is don't eat at night. Don't eat late at night because you're going to get fat. So just to clear this, it doesn't matter what time you eat. Like your body doesn't, burn it differently. If you eat, let's say, a cup of yogurt at 6 p.m., let's say it's like 80 calories. It's not going to turn to 8,000 calories at 10 p.m. It's the same. So that's one thing. You can eat at night, is fine. Obviously, like for some people like me, I don't eat late at night because due to, I just feel uncomfortable when I'm stuffed, when I'm full, and I go to bed. So I go to bed at like 9, 10 p.m. latest.
Wow.
So if I eat at 9 o'clock, I'm still going to feel like it's not really digested quite yet. So when I lay down, something's going to come out. So that's kind of why some people may not choose not to eat at night, but it's not because you will get fat or like 80 calories will turn to 8,000 calories. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when you eat, it's how much you eat and obviously the quality of your food. So that's number one. The next thing I see a lot is, this is more exercise related, but spot reducing fat. So like sometimes I do questions on Instagram. So like, ask me a question, whatever. And I get so many questions saying like, how do I lose, my love handles, or how do I lose my belly fat, or how do I lose my thigh fat, for example. So this is hard, like, because I understand like you want to spot reduce. And to be honest, if you can do that, I think everyone in the world will have a great body, a healthy body, a perfect body, but you can't. So it really depends on your genetics. So giving me as an example, when I gain weight, everything goes on my lower body. So like my butt, my thighs, for example, right? There are certain people who maybe will gain weight only on their midsection, which is their belly. And there are some who will gain, more on their arms. So it's just really genetics. So we can't change that. Like, it sucks, but you can't change that. So, it's down to genetics. However, if you are, if you want to improve that, you just need to strength train and nutrition. That's number one. So like it may be, sorry, 1 second, I got one. My watch is talking to me. So, okay. Okay. Sorry. Getting back to that. Nutrition is key. So you need exercise and nutrition. So abs are made in the kitchen. I'm pretty sure you heard that before, right? So
tell me more about the kitchen.
Food. So you need to eat. Yeah.
You said something ants are made. I think I misheard. Something's made in the kitchen.
Abs
okay,
making it. So everyone's like, a lot of questions is like, how do I lose belly fat? I want to get abs, etc. So it's like abs are made in the kitchen. So you can exercise like 5 hours a day, but if your nutrition is not on point, then you'll never see those abs. So yeah, that's very important for everyone to know, that you just need to work out your whole body and you need to take care of your nutrition. And, let's say like I said, for me, my lower body is like the last place. If I was to lose fat, it's the last place to go. And it's the first place to come when I gain weight. You can't change that, but it's not impossible to reduce it. But it would probably be the last place that you'll see for it to reduce. So again, nutrition is key. Like you can try to exercise 2-3 hours a day, but it's not going to change if you don't work on your nutrition. And it's probably the hardest thing, right? Like it's so easy. Like for me, for example, I can work out like, 2 sessions a day, but if I see an ice cream staring at me in the fridge, I'll be like, so nutrition part is hard, but it's like, come to me, but it's not impossible. So that's definitely the second myth that I see a lot. And another one is eating, smaller meals a day will speed up your metabolism. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter like what time of the day you eat or how many meals. Like it just depends what type of eater are you. Like some people prefer 3 big meals, they don't even snack. Some people love 3 smaller meals and they love having snacks in between and during the day. So having 6-7 meals a day does not speed your metabolism. It doesn't matter. So it's just down to what you eat and how much you eat. So yeah, that's definitely one. And there's one more. It's I just like to clear, I wouldn't say it's a myth, but it's just like, when people are trying to diet and they're like, okay, which one's better? Like, and these are what my clients ask me a lot. So should I do keto? Should I do intermittent fasting? Should I do low carb? Any diet works, really, honestly, if it's something that you think you can stick to for the rest of your life. Now, if you go on a low carb diet, so I'm asking you now, like, let's say I put you on a low carb diet, do you think you can do it for the rest of your life?
Me and carbs have a long-term relationship, Stephany. Me and bread. Me and bread and cow.
Yeah, of
like
course.
the 2 things you cannot take away from me.
Same here. So I mean, you can probably, maybe if I gave you a challenge of like 1 week or a 1 month low carb diet, you can be like, okay, maybe I can do it. I'll try my best. But, and, you will probably see results right away. But, what are you going to do after that? Like, of course, you're going to be like, oh, I need some pasta. I need some, konyo or whatever. And then your weight is just going to bounce back up again. So it's really, I don't like to call it a diet, when my clients go through this, transformation. It's a lifestyle. It's about these little changes that you can make. And definitely, I always have to remind them, be patient, be consistent, be patient, be consistent, because a lot of people just give up when they don't really see results. But results are not linear. It doesn't come straight away. Like, just imagine how long it took you to, gain all that fat. It will not take you 2 weeks to bring it back down.
That's helpful, because to me that's almost like a truth, because that relates to business too. Like I was on a podcast yesterday and he asked me like, how do I get overnight success? And I was like, that's a myth. That doesn't.
It's the same. Yeah, exactly.
But showing up consistently and actually enjoying the process, it was funny because what came about, the distinction was, if you really genuinely enjoy the journey, it kind of doesn't matter how long it takes, because you're enjoying it anyways. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the podcast, because I read your bio and you wrote something that I think a lot of people would resonate with, which is to actually enjoy food.
Yes.
I'd love for you to speak to that in terms of myth, because in all the diet things that I've seen, like very rarely and very little do people say about actually enjoy the food you're eating.
Yes.
It's like it turns food into numbers. And
yeah. So okay, I'll kind of like link one of my clients' story to this, and kind of just what she said, like, working with me and stuff. So she wants to lose weight. Most of my clients come in, they want to lose weight. So it depends like where they're at, right? So I have some clients who are experienced with calorie counting, and there are some clients who have absolutely no idea what a calorie is, and that's completely fine. Like, okay, if you know how to count calories and macros, carbs, protein, and fat, cool. Like that would be a great tool to kind of help you track, how much you're eating and how much you should be eating. But then again, I do have clients who don't want to do it. They're too busy. They don't bother. They just are not interested. And, you know, you can still get results with that. Now, and I do enjoy working with clients with like that as well, who don't want to count calories, because, you know, it can be quite stressful. And like you said, like linking to numbers, and then it can just be like, oh, like every meal you have to sit down and count and maybe weigh your food and stuff. Nothing wrong with it if you're like a
Hold up, we
bikini.
can't eat this sushi. Gotta weigh it.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah,
How
whip out
many
my scale.
grams? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if you're gonna go compete for like a bikini competition, or like, you know, that's what you need to do. But if you're just, you know, the general population who wants to lose weight, you just need to kind of portion control. Now, let's talk about, you know, how you just mentioned enjoying your food. So you can still lose weight and eat ice cream, for example. So I have this client who loves, you know, dessert. So what we kind of usually do is just, you know, I would let her keep a food diary first for the first week. So we don't change anything. We just, you know, keep the food diary. And then at the end of the week, I will kind of analyze through of like, okay, what's this trend here? That's, you know, what's going on and stuff. And then, you know, she would take photos as well, so I can kind of see her portion sizes and stuff. So an example, this client I have right now who I'm working with, I don't see any greens. Like her food is just a lot of, you know, yellow. It sounds weird, right? But like a lot of curry, a lot of rice, and just like white and yellow kind of food. So how to make it easier is that what to add into your diet instead of what to take away from your diet. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good myth too, because most people think diet, they think about eating less. And what you're
Yes.
saying is to eat more, but more of the right
Yes.
things.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So what I told her, like you want to focus, like you want to focus on one or two things at a time. Once they are able to do that, then you move on to the harder stuff. So I asked her like, okay, like, you know, you want them to kind of analyze their food as well and see. And they're like, yeah, it seems quite a lot, you know, this and that. So I was like, okay, do you think you can do this for me? Like, let's add a little bit more greens. So instead of taking out the food that they're eating and, you know, because this client, she eats with her family all the time, right? So instead of being like, no, you're not allowed to eat whatever your family's eating, you have to make your own food, you have to order fit meal box or whatever it is, right? You can still enjoy that. Okay. So I told her, number one, let's see more greens on your plate. So I want, you know, just add more greens into your plate. And I'm sure, you know, your family makes some green. So she's like, okay, I can do that. And I said, number two, let's portion out a little bit better. So with, you know, Thai culture, like when we eat food, it's sharing, right? It's not like Western where you just have one plate. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you kind of need to consider that as well. You can't just change someone who's like, you know, eating like Thai style kind of food and then like, no, chicken breast broccoli only. Like they're not gonna last a very long time. So you need to adjust according to their lifestyle. So I told her, number one, eat more greens. Number two, let's portion control a little bit. So put everything on your plate, wherever you want to eat, and then just have that and just really, you know, focus on food. So don't, you know, eat in front of the TV where you're mindlessly eating, but just really enjoy that, you know, appreciate all the food that you are getting to eat and just really enjoy the taste of it, you know? And she did that. And like in 2 weeks, she already dropped some weight just like that very quickly without me telling her, don't eat ice cream, don't eat chocolate, don't eat fried chicken. Like I did say, okay, you know, pick up the healthier stuff. And everyone knows this. Everyone knows what's healthy, but it's just they're not applying it. And then they're like wondering why I'm not losing weight, you know? So it's just as simple as that. Like, don't overthink it. Don't think that you have to go low carb. Don't think that you have to go keto for it. You just need to be more mindful and you know what's good for you. I'm sure like 99% of people know what to do, but they're just not really doing it. Or maybe they kind of need a little bit more guidance of what to do because they're unsure or someone telling them what to do. So that's why, you know, I'm here, like just helping them out, reviewing their food each week and giving them feedback. But then again, back to what I was saying, it's not about, eating less all the time. Sometimes it's about eating more of the right stuff.
I feel like you're the signal through the noise, and all the noise of all the misinformation and misguided information. You're like the signal that says this, not that. And there's something you touched on that I want to segue this conversation into, which is overthinking about food and overthinking about yourself. So I'm curious to know how perhaps your perception or your thinking has changed about yourself through this journey of learning about your body, and like from being unhealthy to healthy. How has your thinking changed about
Yeah.
your body and yourself?
Yeah. So like I mentioned at the very start that I knew what I had to do. But the very important thing is that I had to get myself out of that negative situation and negative workplace that I was, with before. And doing that, it really helped me. And very importantly, you need a good support system. So your friends, your family, you need to talk to them. You need to tell them what you're going through, and they will understand. They will support you. So you need to have the right people around you as well to help you go through that journey. And trust me, it was not hard for me. It wasn't easy for me
Yeah.
to go through that journey, because gaining weight is tough, right?
Especially if you've
Like,
been taught all your life that like don't do that.
exactly. Especially when you've been like brainwashed saying that skinny is healthy. Now, I'm not saying that people who are naturally thin and stuff are not healthy. I'm just saying that, you can be slightly larger, or, like, it doesn't
You can be
matter.
genetically who you are.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's the word for it. Like, it's not about just one shape, one size done,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, being super overweight is healthy either. Like, everyone has their own has their own set point where their body should be. And people shouldn't be judged of how they look on the outside, basically. So it was hard for me because I was always taught that, being the slimmest I can is the best. Like, you look amazing, you look healthy, but inside I was dying. So I have amazing friends. And, when I spoke to my mom about it, like she understood. And back then she didn't really see what was happening. But when I, opened up to her, she was just kind of like, she started looking back and it's like, yeah, actually you were kind of, scary looking, and you were very mentally, I was just like not there, because I was just constantly just thinking about food and exercising. That was like the
Right.
most important thing of my life.
So I want to highlight something there. I think would be really, it's something, it seems to me what I heard in that was, if you're so worried and kind of self-conscious about your food and your weight, you're kind of missing out on the life that's happening in front of you. Like that's what I'm
Correct.
hearing from you. And I think
Yes.
that's one of the benefits that you're bringing to the table with your clients, is that you're helping them get back into life and enjoying life. So that's cool
Yeah.
too. Like not only enjoying the food, but actually enjoying your life, because
Life.
you're not
Yes.
thinking about your calories or like you're worried about your health. Like you can actually get back to enjoying life. And I think that's
Yeah.
really amazing.
Yeah. And like, just to add on to that, like, I didn't enjoy life back then because I would avoid social situations, because I was like, no, I don't want to eat out at restaurants because I don't know what they're putting in my food, So I'm very happy now that it's worth it. Like I said, like, I gained some weight, but it's not purely fat. I mean, I strength train as well. And that's how rev up your metabolism faster, is by gaining more muscle. More muscle you have, faster your metabolism. But to go through that process, like I said, it was hard because you need a good support system, and your body will change. It won't be the same. And I was trying to change, and that was the point of all of this. So I need to accept the fact that I would probably have to buy new clothes, a little bigger size and stuff, but I knew it was for the best. And thank God, like, I'm here now. Like, I'm so happy. I enjoy my pizza. I enjoy my ice cream, like all of that stuff. And I am glowing more than ever. My skin is like, really good. I don't need to go do like special treatments for it. It's just all down to like just being happy and enjoying life, enjoying food. And of course, like, I am aware of what I'm eating. But, you know, I use the 80-20 rule where like 80% of the time I eat healthy, you know, I eat, you know, I like vegetables and I make sure I have enough protein, you know. But don't get me wrong, I do enjoy myself. And on the weekends, especially, you know, when I meet up with my friends and stuff, I'll have pasta, I'll have ice cream, I'll have pizza. But I know how much to have that will satisfy me. I don't eat until I'm stuffed. I eat until I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I enjoyed it. That was
Yeah.
good. The next day, I just go back to, you know, cooking my own food again. And that's another thing I want to touch up on is that people deprive themselves for like so much, like let's say Monday to Friday, and then they would end up binging on the weekend. And they
Right.
go onto this cycle and then they're like, I don't know why I can't lose weight because I'm only eating 2 apples a day. But then on the weekend, I'm like, you know, I explode because I get so hungry.
Well,
And
yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Something I heard in what you said is, and what occurs to me in listening to you is that it seems to me that you're very attuned to your body now compared
Yes.
to before. And that's
Yes.
something I noticed for myself too, is I think when you're less worried about your body, it's easier to listen to it. And you kind of know when you want chicken or apple. To
Yeah,
me, it's like you want protein and you're just kind of okay, or you need a salad. Like it just occurs to you.
exactly. Yeah.
And another distinction too that I thought was very helpful in what you shared was it seemed like before you were like how you were worried about food and you're worried about not eating food. But then when you settled, it seemed to me that your innate wisdom or your innate kind of intuitiveness, so like, you know, we need strength, we need to grow, and
Yes.
how you naturally went that way. And before we started this conversation, that's one of the things that hit me. It was like, huh, isn't it interesting that most people come to you to lose weight, but what they end up doing is actually becoming stronger,
Yes.
and
Yes.
both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share some of those transformations with us. Like, what have you seen
Yeah.
your clients do and create?
Okay. So basically, yeah, like I said, a lot of clients come to me in order to lose weight, right? So obviously I educate them all the time. And first things first, I want to kind of mention as well that a lot of people focus too much on the scale, right?
Mm,
So for example, let's say someone comes in and he or she, well, usually my clients are she. So she is, let's say 70 kilos, right? And she's like, okay, I want to go down to 60. So then I was like, okay, like it's good to have a goal, but okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. And then, you know, we go through all the process of, you know, finding out how much she's eating and how much she's exercising and her daily energy expenditure, like, you know, if she's walking or she's sitting down just office job all day, for example, like that's very important, right? Anyway, and then we start training and I explain her, okay, this is why we're lifting weights, you know, because some people are like, why aren't we, you know, doing burpees and stuff? It's like, if you want to go do burpees, you just go on YouTube and just go
yeah,
that.
you don't need me to do burpees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, why are you paying me?
Yeah.
So I explained to them that, hey, I'm not hating on burpees. Sometimes it's quite fun to do, but I'm just saying that the main training that you should do is strength training,
Mm,
because when you're trying to lose weight and, you know, when you work on your food and you want to go in a slight calorie deficit, so you're not too deprived, you know. So the point of weightlifting while you're trying to lose weight is that you want to keep the muscle that you already have, right? And you want to strengthen it. And at the same time, if you're a newbie, you know, you're probably, if you've never like really exercised or strength trained before, you will gain a little bit of muscle and, you know, you should be happy about that. But then like for, let's say one of my client, like she was a bit confused because her weight was the same, but
mm,
her measurements, which I do as well, I measure, you know, her, every month, like her hips, her waist, her arms, her thighs had decreased.
mm.
So she was like, I don't get it. Like, I was like, okay, this means that you lost fat, but you gained muscle. So it's called body recomposition because, you know, I'm sure you've probably seen like photos before where, you know, let's say 5 kilos of fat looks like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
this, but 5 kilos of muscle, like, is that small.
Right.
So fat takes up more space in the body compared
Mm,
to muscle. So I was like, hey, like this is a good thing because you're gaining muscle, your metabolism will be faster at rest. and you should be happy about it. And then at first she was a bit like, oh really, I don't know, I still want my kilos to go down and stuff. I was like, trust the process, just keep going. And then eventually a couple of months later, her weight gone down just a little bit more, but it wasn't that much. But her pant size dropped drastically, and you could just see like muscles, shoulders popping up, and like her quads were like super strong, and her strength gain at the gym is just incredible. Like there was one point where she was lifting heavier than me, so I was like,
there you
girl, calm down.
Calm down. There's something to that. I think there's something else that might be happening that you're not speaking to about that transformation, is because I bet she just felt better being in her body.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
I'm gonna guess you probably had more clarity of mind too.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need to like constantly remind them of all of this stuff. Like it's not just about the scale, but also photo transformation, for example. Like take photos every month, and let's say after like 6 or 8 months by, you compare like month 1 and month 8, like you will see a big difference. That's if you're consistent and you're honest about your food and training as well, by the way. Like you can't hide that stuff, by the way. So if you really, really like, working on those stuff, you will see a change. And even though your scale might have not shifted down, maybe it has stayed the same, that's progress already. And then once they see that little change, whether it's the photos or the measurements or even strength gain, because I tell them all the time, like, by the way, you just hit your PR. Like first you were lifting 50 kg, now you're like 70 kg, lifting like, and they're like, oh wow. And then they start to become addicted to that, instead of being so focused on the number on the scale. They're like, actually, I feel pretty badass. Like I'm lifting heavy, and then naturally they just kind of shift to that. And then I would do like a review session, like, once in a while. I was like, okay, so how do you feel about training? How do you feel about food? And, like without saying anything, they're like, what, I really don't care anymore. Like, if my weight doesn't go down, like I feel good and I'm more confident and I look better as well, like compared to 8 months ago or something like that.
Which probably helps them get the weight goal they want anyways. Like it goes back to your to what you were saying in the beginning, is if you can actually thoroughly enjoy the process, you'll get to where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, if you really, really think about it, like, especially for someone who's, let's say, been, a chronic dieter for a very long time, if you think about it, like when you're 70s, when you're like in your 70s or something, you won't be looking back and be like, oh yeah, I remember on August the 28th, I was like 50 kilos, like you won't be saying that. All you would care about is that how you can move when you're at that age. When people come in to go like, okay, I have a wedding to go to in like 2 months, I need to lose this weight. It's like, yeah, but when you're 70, you probably won't remember that exact day that you were 50 kg. Like you probably won't care. When you're 70, you want to be able to move, you want to be able to play with your grandchildren or whatever. Like, you don't want to be stuck in a hospital, right? So I kind of make them think about like the future as well. Like this is a long-term thing. It's not just like, okay, I get to this goal and then now what? Like
for that
what
one
do I do?
Instagram picture, right?
Exactly. And when talk about Instagram, don't believe everything you see. Okay. It can be really, really, like toxic sometimes, like, touch up, retouch, and like, everyone has their angles, and I have my angles I like as well. But who would want to post their most ugliest angle on Instagram?
Well, I want to commend you on something for that, actually.
Yeah.
When we were picking pictures for your profile picture for the poster, right?
Yeah.
And there were these like really glammed up pictures, and you said you picked a picture you said where you look the happiest.
Yes.
And I tell people about that. I'm like, there's something about someone who can tell that about themselves. Like, pick the picture where I look the happiest. I think that's also something that you're really giving to your clients, is inside out happiness can be felt and touched.
Yes.
Like it's a presence. It's like, for example, when you shared in the beginning of your story, we're like, I look great, but I'm not happy. And like, and the people around, it's like a felt sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, like all the photos I think, was great, but then I thought, well, like the photo that, I chose, I just felt like, okay, in that photo, I'm definitely enjoying myself. I'm happy
Yeah.
and I'm not glammed up, and I'm not the type of person that likes to put a lot of makeup on anyway. So I feel like that really just says everything about who I am. It's like it's super me. So yeah,
So
that's why I chose that photo.
what if through your work, people are becoming their super selves?
Sorry.
What if through your work, you're helping people to become their super selves?
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Marketing.
Like, well, like when I train clients, I make sure I let them know that, like, I don't give them like a super high expectation. I said, look, I do my part, but you have to do your part as well. If you don't do your part, if I don't do my part, like it's not going to work. And at the end of the day, like we need to work together. We need to figure out together. You need to be as honest as possible to me. If you had, you know, lots of pizza, let's say on a Sunday night, that's okay. Like just tell me about it and that's it. We move on from it. Like a lot of people beat themselves up, and that's one thing you shouldn't do, because then you just end up, feeling like a failure and stuff like that. But if you think about, when you were 14, 15, did you even care that you had like 5 slices of pizza? Probably not, right? Like it happens. It's fine. Like you're not
Pizza
supposed to.
happens, hashtag.
Exactly. It's not like you have to eat the same amount of, if you're tracking like calories every single day. There's going to be higher days, there's going to be lower days, and that's completely normal.
Mm. So we're coming up on time. I'd like to ask you,
Yeah.
if you were to give a gift to the people listening from your wisdom or your knowing or your experiences, what would be your gift?
My gift.
Mm-hmm. If it were to be like a knowing or an insight or something you've learned or something that you think would be helpful to the people listening as a
Okay.
gift.
All right. So basically, I'll give you like a very, very easy to follow advice for people to, let's say, to start, or maybe they've been doing it for a long time, but they don't know how to get out of this maybe yo-yo dieting phase. So most importantly, I want to say that, you don't have to count calories. That's number one. Number two, if you've been under eating for a very long time, you need to start eating more. When I say eating more, I don't mean, go grab 3 burgers and shove it in your mouth. Like just start to eat the right stuff, start eating more, and start tracking your biofeedback. What is biofeedback? That is your sleep, your energy during the day, how's your menstrual cycle, and how's your health. All of this is very important, and you need to make sure that you feel good as well. So the diet that you want to go through should be the diet that you are able to stick to for the rest of your life, and making sure that your biofeedback is on point. So like I said, your sleep, your energy, your happiness, and not to be stressed about it. So honestly, like life is so short, and I know I'm sure everyone says this, but you don't want to go through this food obsessed thing for the rest of your life. And I went through it for about 10-ish years, and I don't want anyone else to go through it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who's probably been through it more than me. So if you really don't know how to start, where to start, you can educate yourself. But if you can't apply it, get yourself a coach, invest in a coach, and it might, for some of you, you might only need a coach for 6 months. Some of you might need a coach for a year, but you will get all that knowledge. Like your coach will, help you and guide you, and that knowledge will last with you for the rest of your life, and you will be able to continue all this, process, this journey for the rest of your life. And you can then, give it to other people as well. So I think that would be, my advice for a lot of people, is to start now. Like, don't wait, especially if you're going through this, constant hunger, constant binging, or constantly thinking about food. It needs to stop now. You want to enjoy your life. Like, you don't know when you're gonna, disappear. So, just sort it out, get yourself someone who can help you, and then I promise you, you will never regret it. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, what I got from that gift was, enjoy your body, enjoy your health, enjoy your food, enjoy life. And what a wonderful gift it is to be able to give the best of you to the people around you, to your friends, your family, and your work. So I've so enjoyed this conversation. I learned a lot.
To be honest, like, I can go on forever, but we'll
have to bring you back on another topic for this podcast.
Sure.
Lastly, I'd love for you to share with us, where can we hang out with you? Like, what are you working on? Like, plug away.
Okay. So you can definitely come follow me on Instagram. So it's Stephany Auernig. Maybe you can put that.
I'll put the link in.
Yeah. Auernig can be a bit hard to spell, but yeah, I'm on Instagram. So you can contact me through there, like DM me, or my email, stephanyauernig@gmail.com. If you have any questions, we can hop on a call and we can just talk about what you're going through and what you need help with. And if I'm the right person for you, then, we can continue from there. But if I'm not, then I've got some other coaches that I know that might be a better fit, for example. So yeah, just contact me through there. And right now I'm doing online as well, and I'm still spinning, but obviously, the studio isn't opened yet. So you'll just probably see me online. So yeah, that's it really. And I'm working on something as well right now for like an online platform. So stay tuned. I can't tell exactly when it's going to be finished, but it's going to be something that I know a lot of people are going to enjoy doing. And it's, something that you can do at home as well, and affordable, of course, because I want to, really give this to everyone who wants to start their fitness journey. So yeah, that's how you can contact me. That's how you can, follow me. If there's any questions, like, honestly, just DM me and I can help you guys out as well. Sometimes I'm not very active on social media. Like, I kind of limit my time as well, because I like to enjoy the moment rather than be stuck on my phone. So I might be slow sometimes with replying, but, just to get it out there so you understand. I'm not ignoring you, by the way.
All right, Stephany, it's been so amazing to talk to you. Wishing you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
For everybody watching, please go follow and check out Stephany. She's one of my favorite nutritionist experts in the country. Putting that out there.
Thank you.
All right, so it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna stop recording. All right, bye.